What's going on out there, good people? It is your boy Look Around with LMD Trading, and we are back at this thing called trading, and back getting a daily recap done. And today was probably one of my ugliest trading days in a long time, y'all. Today was a hard fought, ugly, and unprofessional day of trade. That's about the best way to describe today. If you look at the tickers that's going across, you're not gonna really see that though. It almost looks like a standard day. Small to decent sized losses, small gains. And it was a green day today. So just looking at those details, you wouldn't really think that it was that bad, but it was. Let's look at the TRADERVUE. Reviewing trades for Wednesday, November 2nd. We took 21 trades today, y'all. Closed P&L, 32.47. When I say it was hard fought and ugly, it was hard fought and ugly, y'all. I felt like I was in a war. And I came out just barely on the short end of the stick. Look at the chart right there. We was in the red fairly early in the morning, and we fought and scrapped to get back green, doing some stuff that we really had no business doing. So let's look at some of these trades down here. And what we're going to see is this is the P&L column. This is what we made per trade. Maxed unrealized gains, max unrealized against us. So first two trades out the blocks, we lose a half R and a full R. Then we make a couple of dollars, and then boom, we back down. Basically another half R on band, B-A-N-D. So just tossed around with these trades. You look, we trade CVS, max unrealized 31, we make 9. Come right back, max unrealized was 518, which is what we made. We trade OMCL, we get up 1 R, we make a half R. Then it's just kind of gets flat. We trade CVS, we take a full loss on that one. We go back to it, basically flat. Make about a half R on this one. Now we are just nickel and diming to try to get back flat on the morning. And we basically had did that. And then we took this trade on Baba. Look what the max unrealized and what we actually lost. We lost basically 2R if we risking $50. But the thing was, we were not risking $50 on this trade. We had just ugly. We'll look at this. We're going to look at that one because this was not the only ugly one that was like that. Baba just kind of bullied us around. So we lost 109. We lost 150. We come back, we make $5. Look at the unrealized on this thing. Unrealized 120 against us. We were up 60 and we make 31. Then we come back. This was a decent trade. Never went against us. We get out for 62. Then we come back. We trade Baba again. Max unrealized against us 70. We were up 115. We make 95. That was the morning right there. That was the morning. That got us back even, or not even even. We were up just about a half hour. Then I sat back down in the afternoon right before the Fed report was coming out, and when they were going to be Jerome Powell was going to be giving his speech. Took a trade on WBA. And boy, did I get out of this thing just in time. We'll take a peek at this one on the charts as well. But totally unprofessional trading. If I'm going to be basing myself on the professional trading strategies scale, totally unprofessional. Should not have arbitrarily increased my risk, which is what I did. Arbitrarily increase my risk while trading. I'm risking $50 a trade. Look at these share sizes. Huge. That's split it in half. It's 500 shares in, 500 out. That would mean that I had a 10-cent risk. Nah, not on no stock like that. Not on no stock like that. So let's go ahead. Let's get over into thinkorswim. And let's get these things reviewed. Let's get them reviewed. So I'm going to go to trades. And there we go. That lets me see how I want to see them there. What I have pulled up right here is the SPY. This gives you an indication. This morning, hanging out in RT's chat room, and I had just posted that it was a choppy morning. And another one of the guys that used to sit over there at RT's chat room was in the chat room this morning. I made the comment that it was a choppy day. He said that, yeah, it is. That report's coming out today. Didn't really pay no mind to it. But look at the SPY's chart. This speaks volumes. The SPY basically was flat all morning up until the report came out. Look at the volume all day up until the report came out. It spiked on that initial confirmation of 75 basis points, spikes up higher. So everybody like, uh-oh, it looked like it's taking the news decent. Pulls back, acts like it's going to go. That is a perfect letter. That's the perfect M. Boom, boom, boom. When it doesn't go higher, you really could have backed up a truck. Because when it didn't break and retest, my favorite little move, let's blow that up real quick. When it didn't break and go, back the truck up. This is tanking out. That's exactly what it did. I did take a couple of stabs at this in my Webull account with some options. Made a few bucks on it. Didn't really let them play out like it should. But made a little bit of money off of the SPY today. But that just kind of gives you the picture of what the market was doing. But let's go ahead. Let's get reviewing these trades real quick. We're going to jump right into band. We'll jump right on into band and start looking at these, man. These were, I don't know. Some of them, it felt like they were decent trades when I was taking them. That's the good thing about coming back and looking at them. What feels like a good trade is not always necessarily a good trade. But first trade of the morning right here, 937, getting in band. Playing it for this break. This is not really a 3-bar play that we're getting in on. Let's look at the 1 minute real quick. Just to kind of see. Nah. Because once you in this far, you can't really be buying this for a high. Again, this is that I want to see it break it and retest. If I drop the line right there, that would be the retest, and then it failed. This wasn't going back higher. Look what we got out of this one at 1752. Wrote this one back down to right here. So I had moved my stop up so as to not take a full stop out. But when this thing didn't hold right back at about break even, It was a wrap. Let's get out. And that's the thing with one thing where I can say that I'm at right now is that I can kind of judge when a stock is gonna turn. That I'm getting pretty good at that. So let's go back. The 1 minute shows it very well. Because again, like I said, if I drop a line right there, this stock should have held right there. It should have bounced and went higher. When it didn't do it, the stock was done. I should have just got out break even. And if it did bounce, okay, we'll look for another entry. But if it doesn't bounce, let's save that money. So that I can somewhat say that, all right, I do think that I'm pretty good at that. We're going to review all of these right here at one time. So let's take a peek at this one right here. We got in this one at 1708. Not really a good entry, chasing. Let's take a peek at the big picture on it. We've missed a ton of the move. We are basically buying this at the middle of the move. If you look at that, I'm buying it at the middle of the move. It comes back down. If I'm buying at the middle, this is about where it should be bouncing. Look where it's bouncing at. Right where I was buying it. So I missed most of that move. Max unrealized gain on that was $40. It's about right because we've missed half of the moves. Ended up stopping out of this on the way back up. And we got out of this one right there as it's coming back up. Basically putting the stop almost right where it kind of was going to try to push back down at. But good exit for the most part. Should have went on and just took this move right here, knowing that we got in super late on no pattern. Let's look at it on the 5 minute. You can see on the 5, it shows it even better. Could have got in right there, played it down. So definitely bad entry. And looking at it, we see that we really did not manage that right getting out of it. But then we got right back in it again. So stopped out right there, jumped right back in it again. 1691. We're glutton for punishment. Thought on this one was when it did not break the whole number, $17, and go higher, thought it was pushing back down. If you look at it, it would have never triggered in on a sell setup. Sell setup, you get in when it breaks this candle. This candle never broke. That candle never broke. This is no longer a valid trade. So got in right there. What did we do on this one? Lost $30 is what we did on that one. Ended up stopping out in this candle right here. Let me drag that down so we can see it. 1706. Took the loss on that one as it's coming back up. So not really good trades. And then came back and we traded this one a little later on in the morning. Got in this one at, let's see if this was the last one. Yep, 1139. Let's see, got in this one 1786. Again, looking at the 2 minute chart, no pattern. We've missed darn near half of this move. But if you look, we left a ton of money on the table. Because we got out of this thing, same candle, 1798 right there. This thing was max unrealized gains, 62. and we got out for 62.50 and left all of that on the table. Left all of that on the table. But again, not a good trade. It's breaking the VWAP. That's good. But we hadn't had no confirmation that it was going to stay above the VWAP. Really didn't have any confirmation that it was, let's switch this over to 2 minute. Really didn't have any confirmation that on the 2, but still, nah, I won't say that because you still want to see this kind of pull back and go. This one, we just buying momentum. That's all that was. Buying momentum and scalping. And the reason we were able to make what we made was because of share size. Because of share size. We were share sized in this 500 shares. Let's highlight one of these candles. One of these candles is 35 cents. So getting stopped out would have been in the middle of one of these candles. So this was strictly a momentum play. Buying it, catching the momentum as it's going higher. And like I said, definitely left quite a bit on the table. On 1,000 share or on 500 shares, this thing went almost 50 more cents. So we probably left $250 on the table by this move that was up there. But again, strictly buying that trade off of momentum. Getting in right there, 1787. You figure up to there, that's a dollar move on 500 shares. That was $500 had we been bold enough to stay in that. But that was one of those trades just trying to scrap and nickel and dime to get back break even. Let's take a look at this para trade real quick. Take a look at PARA. Another one. And actually, can't really say that. That's the first trade though. Let's go over to the oh, that's the second trade. I'm sorry. Let's go over to the first trade. Do that so we can see these candles the correct way. So we got in this one long. Got in this thing long. And this was one, if we were watching the video, I kind of got triggered in this one early, and I should have just got out of the trade. Should have just got out of the trade. I was looking for this to go higher, and you look at the 5 minute, and this thing, I had an order just sitting there, and it triggered the order in, and I should have taken the order out of the system. So this was just a donation that was just given. Stopped out full. Because again, playing it off of this candle right here on the 5. Looking for it to break and go higher, back up to previous high of day. Triggers me in. Not even a peekaboo. It just, the order was sitting there, it triggered the order in, and this thing just rolled over. That there was a donation. Stayed in this thing almost 25 minutes, hoping to see if it's going to play out, and it never did. So that was first trade on para. And if you know me, you know that once I go red on a trade, I'm fighting to get back green. One of my biggest flaws in trading. But this was a good trade. Or was thought out to be a good trade. Buying this off of the 2 minute chart, off of this little tiny pullback, playing it just to this line. Look at the size of that candle. So we're going to get a very small, let's see, that was 5 cents or 4 cents is that candle. 1,000 shares. So we risking 5 cents. We needed to go 10 cents. So let's see, lower that is 95. We needed to go to 85. What's the base on this candle right there? 87. So we know we're going to come up maybe 2 cents short of target. This thing does exactly what we think it's going to go do. Look at that. The low of that candle is 85. That's our target. But if you notice, I got out of 200 shares. So I got out of 200 shares thinking that I was getting out of the complete order. Thinking I was getting out of the complete order. And then I'm like, what happened to my other 800 shares? I didn't see the bracket for the other 800 shares. This one, I'm going to have to go back and look at the video. I have to go back and look at the video on this one and see what happened. But it got out of 200 shares at 1689. I don't catch that I'm still in 800 shares. And I get out of those 800 shares at 1692, losing 3 cents per share on 800 shares. So made money on that trade, but somehow, some way, it didn't get me out of all of my shares. And let's see here. Let me see. Trying to see what we made. And see, that's just, that is ugly, ugly, ugly. So this trade right here, and that's crazy. Max unrealized gains was 73. That's what we should have been making on the trade. Should have been getting out right there. We made $16.92 on this trade. I'm looking at this chart because I'm like, that really don't make no sense, because the price was $16.92. That's why I was staring at it so long. But that's right. Max unrealized against us was 39. Max unrealized gains was 73. Profit $16.92. If that ain't crazy. Got out for these last 800 shares for $16.92. And that is what we made off of that trade. So, yeah, it was one of those days. One of those days. One thing I can say, I didn't really get no sleep last night. That's not really a good excuse, but it's the one that we're going to roll with. Next trade, ARCT. ARCT, we got in for 24.20. And I might review one more of these trades. This one we'd be here all day trying to review all of these trades. But it's another one of those trades. I got an area marked, y'all. If I have an area marked, I need to wait on the move, the pullback, and buy the buy setup to go higher. I bought this, basically buying it at the top. If anything, could have bought this little pullback right here. A little pullback, get in right there and put the stop right there. Let's see that. Let's look at that real quick. 32 cents. So let's give it 35 cents. We need 70 cents out of it. So we would have need this to go to 24.80. That was enough. It definitely was enough for 1 hour. So it was enough to take the trade for 1 hour. But buying right there, nah. So we made money on the trade. We made money on the trade, but it was not a good entry. Could have bought that little pullback right there. Let's look at it on the 5. 5, same thing. You're just buying. I know not to take these trades. And this is the thing that messes with you with trading. I'm gonna make this the last review on this. Actually, we'll review that last one. Let's go ahead and pull that one up real quick. WBA. That was a trade I took in the afternoon. Let's look at that one. And then I'll just keep talking. With trading, it's just that mental thing. You know what to do and what not to do. And it's hard. It's like they said, what will you do when nobody is looking and you know? But this last trade right here, took this short, not really off of a pattern. Let me go ahead and drop the arrow right here so we can see where I got in at. Got in right there. As this was coming up to test VWAP. And if you notice, this is 10 minutes before the report. So I'm taking this one to try to get a push back down. To get a push back down. And it pushed back down. And when it pushed back down, I just started chasing my stop. So I have my target like way down here somewhere. And I'm just chasing this down with my stop. End up stopping out 36.49. So right there on that candle. And then look at what that thing did. That is why you need to have a stop in the system. Especially on a trade like this. This was a little dicey, especially trading it right into that. I don't know if it was FOMC report or just a speech or what Jerome Powell was doing, but imagine had I not had a stop in the system and this thing would have took off in that candle and I'm trying to cover somewhere up in here. So for one, very, very bold trade, but my thought process was this is going to push back down. Let's see what we can get out of it. Didn't make much money on it. And let's just see what we can make on it and let's get up out of it. But that was the last trade. That was an afternoon trade. As you can see, let's go ahead. Let's scroll out to the big picture. FOMC report comes out. It looks like it's going to be positive news, makes that big move, and then it chops along and just flushes. Comes back down. That's that test to try to test and see if it's going to hold previous high of day. It doesn't. It fails. Back the truck up. Boom. It's gone. So no stop in the system. I'm riding this thing all the way back up praying, or I'm just going to get out and then it just chops along and then boom. So that was it. That was it. Like I said, it was ugly, very ugly, not proud at the way I was trading by any means today. Evan sent me a message. He wasn't trading today. Asked me how I did, and I'm like, it's ugly. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to talk about it because we know better. I said this in a video maybe yesterday. When you know better, you do better. And absolutely knew better. Absolutely knew better. And we just didn't do it. You come over here and look at this right here. This is a perfect example. It breaks the previous low of day. Don't buy there. Wait on it to break, come back up and retest it. Now you could buy it over here and trade it back down. But looking at it, when you buy right there, this is that plain as day. You could see it, or I could see it plain as day type of stuff. I'm gonna blow this up real quick. Actually, that was too much. When you get this move coming down and you buying it right there, buying it in the middle of the move, literally buying it right in the middle of the move. So yeah, this may keep pushing down, but why are you buying it in the middle? Wait on it to come down and improve itself and then buy it. So we got to do better. I'm about to get me some good sleep. Sunday, Monday, Tuesdays are my very long nights. Very long. I might get 4 hours sleep every night. Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night. And then Wednesday is my night to catch up on sleep. I'm actually getting this video out of the way fairly late tonight. Normally this thing is done either while the market is still going or around 5 o'clock. It's like 8 o'clock Eastern time. So usually I'm laying out on the couch trying to catch up on sleep. So I'm gonna wrap this one up. While I'm sitting here, I may go ahead and go and get my October recap out the way. So that's done. And definitely gonna get a good night's rest, and we'll be back at this thing again tomorrow. Hope y'all enjoyed the recap. If so, please hit that like button. If not subscribed, please think about subscribing. And as always, we can continue the conversation in the comments. One thing I do want to mention, and I have not answered the question that somebody left in the comments yesterday as to what do I feel is a good profit for the month. Excellent question. Excellent question. And it made me think about it. And it's subjective. But even with it being subjective, I will say for me, a good month would be 20R. 20R would be a good month for me. My goal is to make 2R every day. We know that that's not going to be possible. Let's say that there's 20 trading days in a month. And if we hit every single day, so if we made in 1 week, that should be 10R. If we doing 2R every day. So let's just say that we can, out of 4 weeks, we can make half of that. That's 20R. With my risk, that would be $1,000 a month. So that's the answer that I would give that gentleman. And when I answer his question, that's how I would answer it, is that it's subjective, but based on my trading plan and what I should be making every day, what I have set as my goal, a 20R month would be good for me. And based on your risk level, then that dictates how much. Because for October, I think I said I made like not 800. I made $900 for the month. That is right about there. So I kind of was hard on myself, but if I look at it that way, it was a decent month, even considering how lackluster it was. It just, because I've had some big months. I've had some big months. I had some small ones. And this October was probably one of the smaller ones. So, but when it's all in relation, that's about what it should be. So on that note, like I say, we can always continue the conversation in the comments. Again, not sure who that was that asked that question, but that was an excellent question. And I will be typing in a comment here pretty soon, because I just had noticed that question. So all right, hope y'all have a good evening, and we'll be back at it again.